Hey everyone, welcome back to the Art of Save Scumming. My last video, we talked about the cult mechanic and generating resources off of the cult mechanic as it pertains to Nurgle. And I gave examples of 3 different ways to use the cults for various activities. And one of them was a allied farm. And I said that the best place to set that up would be like in Archeon's territory over here, because you're probably not going to go to war with him if you play your cards right. Or over here with the Chaos Dwarfs, for instance, would be another really good location to set up those farms. And they look something like this. You know, we're gathering money from the fact that we've got plagues that have spilled over from our territory into theirs. Well, instead of the Chaos Dwarves, what if I told you that there is a better location to set up a farm that doesn't require you to do any of the legwork? And that is, of course, Festus's territory. And the great thing about Festus is we don't have to worry about losing the territory that we have used to set up the cults to Confederation, because we're not capable of confederating him, at least not at this point in time, because he is a Warriors of Chaos character, not a Nurgle character. So the best way to do this, in my opinion, is to set up a cult in a region that you don't think is going to be taken by Festus. Now, this settlement needs to meet only really a few criteria. One, he's not going to take it anytime soon, or at least not over the next turn, that will either destroy the cult or be taken up by him, because we don't technically want to be at war with him, although we could if we wanted to use him to farm infections in this way, because he does have armies that sit in the region. But in my opinion, the best way to do this is with the money generating aspect of the cults. You could use it to do infections by declaring war on him. He does have armies that linger in the area, but I think that if you set up a whole bunch of money-generating cults, then you can use the generate infections cults elsewhere. So anyway, that is really the only... Well, that is the first stipulation. The second stipulation is once we capture this settlement, because we're going to teleport Tamarcon over to this region and capture this settlement needs to be high enough tier that we take it at tier 2. It's not required, but if you don't take it at tier 2 or higher, then you're going to have to spend some time building it versus being able to get in there, set up the cults, and get back out. You don't want to sit here and linger for 20, 30 turns or something like that. So anyway, we've walked a dude down here, a cultist, and set up our cult. And I was going to start doing corruption in the area, but I don't think it's really necessary. So what we're going to do is go ahead and teleport Tamarcon down here, and the next turn he'll be here to take the settlement. And here we are with a level 50 Tamarcon with all of his chieftains, some chosen, some chaos warriors, a few other things in there. Right next to Middenheim. This is a level 4 settlement. Let's go ahead and distribute this point really quick. You can see that we're basically at the whatever stage. And let's see, who is Karl Franz at war with? He is at war with the Vamps, Be'lakor, and Clan Scryer. So, let's see here. Let's find... Probably... Well, we can't see Clan Scryer. That's what I was going to go for. So let's find the Vamps instead. They might actually pay some money.
Careful now. To summon me is all but an invitation.
All right, we'll take 3,700. And then we're just going to smash this up. And we are on very hard battle difficulty, legendary campaign difficulty. And with that army, we take minimal casualties. So then we're going to, just to be safe, for the sake of testing, let me see if you can loot and occupy this and get it at a level 2. Yes, you can. So technically, we would be able to sack that and get the full amount if you wanted to. So we're now going to build this, and that means that we now just have to defend this territory for 4 turns. And then I would probably also put in something that causes corruption in the area. Probably this one. And I mean, we could get more heroes. That also produces corruption, right? Yeah, Nurgle corruption. So we'll do that. And then while that is building, we need to look for hero recruit capacity while this is getting prepped up. So let's find another settlement here that can recruit. We have 2 available, and we have a third one that's sitting on the map down there that we can disband, and we have some other ones elsewhere on the map that we can disband. So it's not critically important. The other choice that you have is if you don't have your army stacked with characters already, you can also endemically bring those characters to the region and not have to recruit them locally if you think that it's too hot in the region. So you could stack Tamarcon in here, leave some of your chieftains, put like 3 or 4 cultists in here, teleport him in, drop the cultists off, and get out. But ultimately, we're going to sell this to Festus because we want him to be stronger and stay in the region longer. And for that purpose, actually, now that I think about that, we should probably, since we're going to sell it to him, we should probably go ahead and build this building instead, because that'll increase its resale value. Now, in my opinion, the best way to defend a settlement like this when playing as Tamarcon is to just simply walk around with naked shows of force. Remember that Tamarcon has in his skill tree not that one, this one, upkeep minus 25% for all units, armies in local province. So you can stack multiple armies in a province and just have a ridiculous show of force. That is provided that you can afford the upkeep, right? So in my opinion, the best way to defend a settlement like this is to raise a couple stacks and just walk around with them in the same province and just nuke local settlements. So if we can get Tamarcon here, you can see that is now a decisive victory, but we might as well take no casualties and take all of those armies and stack them right there. Right. And now we've got a whole bunch of other territory that we can ultimately sell to Festus after we've decided that we're done in this region. But we've now raised this building, so let's go ahead and get all 3 of these cultists. And then we'll get an additional one, next turn. So this is my initial setup. We took this position. We started recruiting our people, our agents, and in Middenstag and Krugenwald, I have set up the cult Magus building. Once I get my cult Magus, one of them will set up a Magus Chambers in the Brass Keep. One of them will set it up in Middenheim after I sell this to Festus. And the reason that is we're going to sell this to him at level 3, and this is a Dark Fortress as well. So those are both really good locations to get high corruption and money out of Festus. Now, remember, Festus is going to consistently spawn plagues in the region for us, so we're going after plagues. So if we establish this cult, we want this for research rate, and then the second building that we want is this one here. Income 50, and then when the settlement has a plague, an additional 300. So yes, we're absolutely going to get both of those. After you've built these provinces to the point where, or excuse me, settlements to the point where you think that they're in a good place, we are going to go to Festus. Should have just clicked on settlement. And we're going to, not Middenheim, Wiesmund. And all the way up to Defensive Alliance if we wanted to. Right now, we're just going to take the money from him. Give him Wiesmund. And now that allows us to establish a cult there. And you can continue to wash, rinse, repeat on this for as many of the settlements as you feel comfortable doing. Now, out past here, I think that if Karl Franz is doing well, you probably don't want to put him all the way out here. But Middenheim and these settlements here are decent expenditures, because basically after you've stationed an army in the area to help out, Middenheim will never fall and the Brass Keep will never fall if you're active in the region. And then ultimately, when we're done in the region, that's when we want to go ahead and get that defensive or military alliance. And then we will simply, before we do that, spawn this character. Go to Festus. Transfer him Middenheim. We can get him as a vassal, for instance. And now we can establish that cult, although we have to wait a turn for that cultist to get his movement to be able to do that. And that, my friends, is how you set up a money farm with Festus, and you don't have to do any of the legwork to keep the plagues rolling or the corruption rolling in that region. You get it for free.